Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why Carson Wentz should be looking over his shoulder.
And I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you why people are starting to agree with me about Russell Westbrook.
Yes, they
Speak
are.
for yourself starts now.
Right now, I don't fully agree with you on the
Dr.
Westbrook
Evil.
topic today, but
Maybe I'm
get
right.
close. All right, hello and welcome. We're joined today by former NBA All-Star Kenyon Martin and Fox NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Let's start in Cleveland, where LeBron James and the Cavaliers put the Raptors out of their misery last night, embarrassing Toronto with a sweep that nobody saw coming. After a tough first round, the Cavaliers looked like a completely different team in this series, and LeBron talked about staying confident despite early struggles.
Listen, at the end of the day, I understand that a series isn't won until you win 4. So me personally, my confidence never wavers. It's just who I am. I believe in what I bring to the table, what I can provide to our team, and I believe in my teammates. It's impossible for me to lose confidence in our ball club, no matter what the stakes are, where we're down, because if I do, then where are we going to go from a team aspect? So
LeBron definitely got more help in round 2 than in round 1, with huge jumps across the board in the stats of his supporting cast. Cowherd, all of this is making me believe LeBron may stay in Cleveland.
No,
what do you think?
I think the opposite. Listen, man, all of us work our entire lives to have options. He's in year 15. Lakers want him, and Houston wants him, and the Spurs want him, and the Knicks want him, and Philly wants him. Those are just the good teams.
Keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm just naming the good teams. Minnesota would take him, and Utah would take him. It's like, you work your whole life. This is a guy that's always sought the best available option. He's never had this many options. Outside of Golden State, the whole league would take him, and he could be a challenger for a title tomorrow. I don't get staying.
He's 44-8 in the Eastern Conference since returning to Cleveland. He looks like he's headed towards the NBA Finals. What's so bad? What's the matter with Cleveland? Go to LA and face Houston and Golden State just to get into the NBA Finals? You could get eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. He has things on lock in Cleveland. He gets to run the franchise the way that he wants. His value's never been higher. Dan Gilbert is going to acquiesce. They may go out and get him another piece in Cleveland. Why leave?
I'm with you. I've been saying it since all this whole mess started. LeBron the Lakers, LeBron the Clippers, LeBron here, LeBron there. Why leave? Like, you have do everything that you ask. No matter what your relationship is with the owner, they do whatever. So why would you mess with that? You know what I'm saying? They go and get whoever. Okay, the thing didn't work with Isaiah Thomas to trade. What do they do? Listen, man, I need y'all to do this. Blow the team up. Now you're going to Eastern Conference Finals with doing it your way. Like you said, going into the West or another team, it makes no sense unless you're going to the Knicks right now. With Fizdale, but I can't see him leaving, man, because everything is laid out for you to be successful in the East. And if you're about winning championships, it's all the easiest thing that you're saying, smarter, not harder, right?
Right.
Why go to the West? That's harder.
I'm from Cleveland, so I would like nothing more than LeBron to stay there and finish his career there. But if this season plays out the way we all, let's be honest, think it's going to, they get to the finals and they get bashed 4-0, 4-1 by Golden State, even if he wants to stay, if his goal is winning more championships, I hate to say it, I almost think he has to leave. Now, I agree, I don't think going to the Lakers or going to the West is the place to go, because you got a battle with Houston and Golden State and all them, and if you go to Houston, you don't know how that's going to fit. I think Philly is the place to go, if he's going to leave, because I think last night, you saw Ben Simmons playing off the ball and actually being effective with T.J. McConnell in there. And LeBron, I'm told, wants to play off the ball, so he let Simmons handle the rock. And remember, they stay in the East, Kenyon. So I get staying in the East. But with Embiid and Simmons, I think they'd have a chance to win a championship.
But I think that him going to Philly stunts Ben Simmons' growth.
Even if LeBron gets off the ball.
He's not capable of getting off the ball.
Look, I feel you. I've talked to some of the people close to him, and they say he wants to play off the. I get it, because your game is your game.
Want to?
I want to eat a salad
one
every
thing.
day, Chris. I want to eat a salad every day.
But hold on, we saw Chris Paul. Chris Paul has done it. Chris Paul
Has he?
You compare Chris Paul to LeBron
No, but
James?
I mean, he's
It's
got
way
the ball.
different. It's way different, man. It's a way different
I
aspect.
do feel that. I get that.
But-
But I'm just saying, if he's willing to play off the ball,
I think
it's a
Chris,
no-brainer. You're right.
explain
He
this
might
to
not.
me, because I legitimately
Cleveland
don't know.
can't win it.
I legitimately don't know. Explain this to me.
You don't think they can?
Cleveland can't add a piece during the offseason? They can't make any
Their
moves?
assets will be Kevin Love and that top
If
draft
they
pick
locked
next.
in how they were locked in them last 3 games,
They
throughout
can beat Golden State?
I think so, man.
Okay,
Oh,
look.
I
Well,
I think so. I'm
what
not saying
I
it's going to
give you
happen. But the
is-
way they've been locked in the last 3 games, minus game 1 against Toronto, the way that they evolved from the Indiana series to this series, I think them guys know what they are now. You know what I'm saying?
I'll
And
give you that. Look, if they get to the finals and obviously if they
Yeah.
win it, or if they play them tough, like
Yes.
it's a tough 6 or 7, then stay. But if they get drilled, and remember last year they had Kyrie Irving and still got drilled.
I'm
He
with you.
just told you, LeBron did. He's not giving up on these teammates and what he provides to a team. He believes anything is possible.
Well,
Seriously.
Well, let's see.
He's saying
Anything
that.
Yeah.
he's proven it.
By the way, let's
He's
be honest.
proven
But during the regular season, he's like, get us some help. He just knows right now it's no point
By the
in
way,
saying that.
I think let's look at the East next year, Boston.
Yeah.
Forget Philly for a second. Kyrie, Tatum, Jalen, Horford, Gordon Hayward, Rozier. Okay, that's really close to Golden State.
And a great coach.
So you can say you got 2 great teams. Doesn't matter where he plays. So why wouldn't he choose the best group of available players?
I think
You're not beating this unit.
Where is that?
Well, Philadelphia, Houston, Kawhi and him in San Antonio.
Not going to Houston. It'll be smarter move for Kawhi to leave San Antonio to get from under Pop to go play for somebody else. I can't. And LeBron going to the Lakers stunts Ingram's growth, Ball's growth, Kuzma's growth.
You don't mind
Like-
stunting their growth. They might not be that good anyway.
No, but you don't. But you don't know though.
But
I'm saying, but
Why
you
couldn't
draft them
Kawhi
guys
Leonard
2,
end up in
3,
Cleveland?
2
Tell me why
in the
Kawhi
draft for a
Leonard
reason.
can't end up in
What can he
Cleveland.
give
I don't
tell
see
you
why.
why.
I think he can.
If Pop's gonna trade Kawhi, he's probably gonna send him to the East, which is smart. Boston could put together a better offer than Cleveland.
Yes.
Cleveland could give, let's say, what's their best offer? Kevin Love
And a
and
draft
the
pick.
#1 pick. Boston, if they want it, could offer Jason Tatum and next year's Sacramento pick, which will be lottery.
Yes.
They could offer Kyrie Irving.
And if I'm Adam Silver, I finally do something David Stern like and stop that from happening. He would be the NBA. No, did they not do it with Chris Paul? Did they not?
But that wasn't
that
because-
was weak too.
Do what's
yeah,
in
that
the
was
best
not.
interest
He
of
was
the
the
league.
owner of the team at that point.
Do what's in the best interest of the league. LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard in Cleveland with that Boston team. That would be in the best interest of the NBA.
Well, yeah,
As
How about
fans,
LeBron
we
in Philly? You don't think people would love to see? Because Philly, Kenyon, I think Philly, with all that length and LeBron James as a closer finisher, they have some shooters. I think they could potentially beat Golden State.
This time of year brings us 2 things, graduations and Father's Day, and the gifts that go along with them. Before you buy Dad another tie or that grad a balloon that will probably float away, ask yourself this: does my dad or grad like wings or sports, or better yet, both? If the answer is yes, then get them a Buffalo Wild Wings gift card. Right now, if you purchase $30 worth or more in-store or online, they'll give you a $5 bonus to keep for yourself. That's a gift that gives back. How generous of you. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's move to the Raptors, whose future appears to be up for debate as well. Reportedly, executives around the league expect the team to fire coach Dwane Casey after getting bounced from the playoffs by LeBron 3rd straight year. Whitlock, Toronto need to fire Casey?
Listen, I don't think this is something that's a horrible look for Dwane Casey. He's had a good run in Toronto. If they feel like they need a new voice, because I think it's easier to move on from the coach than it is from all the players. I think a new coach should be a part of the process of perhaps tweaking the roster of this team. I think Dwane Casey will land on his feet, get another head coaching opportunity, if not this offseason, next offseason. It's not a indictment of Dwane Casey if they move on from him.
Well, I think getting fired is an indictment on anybody. Let me defend Dwane Casey here. I grew up in Seattle. Not every franchise is built to win championships. Seattle, because of their geographic isolation, Free agents don't want to travel that much. They don't want to be in a plane 30% more than the rest of baseball players. Seattle's never going to be a dominant franchise. Free agents just don't want to be in a plane. You're by Alaska, okay?
You talking about the Seahawks?
No, I'm talking Mariners. Seahawks have 8 road games. Mariners have 81 road games.
The Sonics were a good franchise.
Okay, again, 40 road games. Toronto is not built to win titles. Canadian taxes. It's the only Canadian team. By the way, if you're going to go east,
Just
you're going to go
satisfied.
to New York,
Be satisfied.
Miami, Philadelphia.
Just be
I'm not
satisfied.
saying be
Raise
satisfied.
the white flag.
No, but I'm saying.
Canada,
By the way,
Colin has written you out of the NBA.
no, what I'm
Raise the
saying
white
is
flag.
all these
Except hockey.
all these greedy owners, they keep adding teams. They're not all built to win titles. How can Tampa Bay, in a sport without a salary cap, compete with the Yankees? We didn't have the Tampa Bay Rays in the 60s, 70s. I just don't think that. I just think you said it a week ago.
Give up. All right, Colin. Go
I
ahead.
mean, I actually tend to agree with both of you. I mean, look, Toronto has to accept. Dwane Casey's done a great job there. And, you know, every time they've had a superstar, he's left.
Yes.
You know, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Chris Bosh, they don't want to stay there. So now they got 2 stars. Lowry was a journeyman before he got there and became a star. And you got a bunch of international guys that are happy to be there, that might stay. That's not a championship team. Casey's gotten them as far as they can go. But you're right. If the voice, and I don't know this, but if the voice is worn out, then that might be the only.
It's finna come off a little crude, but like you said, they got a bunch of international guys on their team. Probably want to come get some of the good old American boys to try to help y'all do something. You know what I'm saying?
That they should go. But they
that's
won't
my whole
stay.
thing. But you
You
try.
know that. The
try.
stars won't.
But you got to try eventually. You got to keep trying. But like they just in a tough spot, man. Like they're in the East and they running up against a buzzsaw every year.
They get
That's-
swept
it's a
2
tough
years
spot.
in a
That's
row.
LeBron.
Hey, it's a tough
that's
spot.
Yeah.
The
I think
Pacers
They
we-
might be the
listen,
second
yo,
best team in the
Pacers
East.
I
didn't
might
get
be
swept.
wrong, but I think we swept the Detroit Pistons twice before they won it. When I was with the
Swept 'em.
Nets.
There you go. Swept them.
Was Larry Brown the coach?
No.
So
I
the
don't-
Pistons went
Might
out and
have
got
been.
Larry Brown.
Yeah, they needed
They
some help.
They went out and got the right coach. Look, I'm looking at Brad Stevens and what he's doing. You have to try. And again, they're not easy to find. But you got to go out and try to find your next coach. Dwane Casey will get another job. This isn't a Mark Jackson situation where he's antagonized the franchise and has any dirt on his reputation.
So you're going to try to find
He's
the
done a
next
great
Brad
job.
Stevens?
You
Yeah,
are right.
I don't
You
think a
are
college
right. It
coach is
wouldn't
the
be an
right
indictment.
move.
There
Yeah,
is
I don't
no
think a
other-
college coach is the right move. There's enough guys
I'm
that's
just saying-
qualified that's had NBA jobs.
I'm just saying a great coach.
I'm
Just
with
find
you. I'm with
a
you.
great coach.
Well,
or
It's
a different
unfortunate.
coach.
It's unfortunate that he's had good talent on their roster over the years since his tenure has had good talent, but the talent hasn't been elite.
By the way,
He's maximized this team. Like, they're
Yes,
essentially the
yes.
same roster as Washington.
I'm with you.
You know, 2 good guards and then a bunch of.
Time out.
I'm with you.
But you're right. It wouldn't be an indictment on Casey. It would
Well,
just
come
be
on,
like
He did his
sometimes
job.
you need.
He did
a
his
new
job.
voice.
It just
It would
it's
just be
time.
like
Bill
sometimes. you need a
Belichick
new
got
voice.
fired, Colin.
and it was an indictment at
That's
the time.
unfortunate.
Now it's not because he got titles. At the time, it wasn't good.
I don't know, honest to goodness, I don't know any talented people and ambitious people that don't get fired. I really don't. That's just a fact of life. When you're in competition in sports and just in life, people get fired. Ambitious, talented people. And then they get to restart over someplace else and prove people
You're
wrong.
telling me they're going to go find the next Brad Stevens. The SEC has fired 72 coaches trying to find the next Saban. They
Fire
can't.
73 and 74.
to find Nick Saban.
I will say this, though. In a place that, and to Colin's point, it may not be built to win a championship, stability is critical.
Yes.
Utah never won a title under Jerry Sloan, but they were relevant every year. They were in the playoffs every year. Sometimes that's enough.
Did they get swept
They
twice?
still haven't
Were they
won.
getting
They
swept
got
back to
swept
back?
before. Yeah, they haven't won, but everybody's not going to win. I hate
Everybody,
to say
yeah,
it.
it is unfortunate.
As long as
It's
these
part
owners
of it.
keep adding teams and franchise, at about 1980, we had all the franchises we needed. And then the owners decided, well, I can get another $40 million expansion fee check. I'll take it. We got about 30 pro teams, if you count all the sports. They're not built to win in today's NFL, NBA, NHL.
So they should just be satisfied.
Well, no, they should just not fire their coach who could have been coach of the year.
He was third on
George
the ballot.
Karl got coach of the year and got fired in Denver. It wouldn't be the first or the last.
Good.
Welcome back. Kenyon Martin, Chris Broussard are back. Let's return to the association where apparently people are finally starting to listen to the very intelligent things I've been saying about Russell Westbrook, according to legitimate Zach Lowe, not some blogger quoting another blogger. An increasing number of teams around the league think the Thunder should actually consider trading the triple-double king after yet another ugly early playoff exit. Whitlock, should OKC trade Westbrook?
I think they should consider it.
Why did it move for you?
Yeah, it's they should consider it. Look, this past season was a nightmare. On the other side, though, what are you going to get in Oklahoma City? You got a superstar, one of the best players in the league, sells tickets, plays hard. You know, he doesn't play smart, but he plays hard. He cares. You're going to be able to duplicate that in OKC? You know, this to me is Dominique Wilkins in Atlanta, Allen Iverson in Philadelphia. It's a good fit.
So you're just saying what I was. Last segment you got on me and you said,
I
what,
said
you're
they should
waving the
consider
white
it.
flag.
Yeah.
They should consider it. They should consider trading, depending on what they can get back for it. But then I said I could also see holding on to him. He sells tickets and he plays.
By the way, didn't we all say, I've been tough on Westbrook for about 3 years, and you guys always push back. Even you, about a year ago, you were saying, okay, if Paul George leaves, you win the argument. He's about to leave. Like, when are we going to go, okay, some of this is a large dose of Westbrook. Dude is hard to play with. Like, can't we at some point? Harden, KD, Paul George, they're all leaving.
It ain't his fault.
Well, whose is it?
Who's making the decisions?
Well, but KD got recruited. He's like, I want to play with a team.
Well, that's fine. He made that decision, but it's not Russell's fault.
None of it is?
Not the players leaving.
Well, if Paul George leaves...
Was it Russell Westbrook checkbook that let James Harden leave or what?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm not blaming him for that.
Let's mark it down here.
Kevin Durant walked. Paul George is going to walk.
Well, Paul George was traded there.
But he's going to walk.
Well, that's fine. It's his choice. But, like, people around the league, not in Oklahoma City, don't know what this man is about. Of course, that's their opinion. You know what I'm saying? They watch it from afar. They whispers and barbershop talk.
How many of them would be first
and guess
in line
what?
to trade for him?
Let him come on. My point. Let him come on the block.
Yep.
First up.
8 of 11 playoff
First
games.
up.
8 of his 11 last playoff games lost. Not to the Warriors, not to LeBron, to first-round teams.
If Cleveland was in the West, they might be losing in the first round. I mean, that's how tough the West is.
With LeBron
Look,
James.
You cannot, no, you don't trade him. You said it. This is Allen Iverson in Philly. This is Dominique Wilkins in Atlanta. I'll even go Steve Nash in Phoenix, Chris Webber in Sacramento, Patrick Ewing in New York, Karl Malone and John Stockton in Utah. Did any of them win titles? No. Westbrook's, he's not going to lead them to a title. But he is a superstar. He keeps you relevant. He will sell out the arena as long as he's there. The fans love him because he's one superstar who's embraced Oklahoma City. They'll still be on national television. You got to keep it. This is a business, too.
In one of the smallest markets in the NBA. Relevant.
So
sell out night in,
You're
night
just
out.
signing up for we give up. We
So
can't.
should
No,
they
ain't
be,
nobody
or
giving
should
up.
you want to become Orlando or Phoenix or Detroit or Charlotte or some of these teams that have been in the lottery for a decade
Why
almost?
would you be if you could
Sacramento?
trade him and get 2 number ones and a good player?
That's no guarantee.
Guaranteeing on what?
Exactly.
You get good players.
Most lottery
Good.
picks are
He's
don't pan
great.
out.
Yeah, but if
So
I
you're
can
going to trade good for great.
If I can get 3 goods for a rigid, poor-shooting
So
guard,
who's
But
to
that's
say
a
they're
big
going?
if.
Who's to say they're going to be good?
Exactly. Most lottery picks
don't know.
don't pan out.
I'm saying.
But what we do know, I'm going to defend Colin in
Thank
this
you.
regard. What we do know is that you ain't going to win a whole lot with Westbrook. And
You don't know
other
that.
superstar players,
Other people.
or
You
even
get him,
star
you get him a
players.
better coach.
Exactly.
You get him a better coach. Let's start there.
Yep.
Get him a better coach, somebody that understands him, somebody that can have a
Who's
real
that?
conversation.
Who's that?
A former,
His wife?
a former point guard player that he respects.
They got
That's
Mo
played this-
Cheeks on
Hold
the
on,
sideline.
here's the thing. Kenya,
He
if
ain't
you
never
wanna
seen Mo
shake it
Cheeks
up-
play basketball.
If you want to shake it up, start with Billy Donovan, not with Russell Westbrook.
That's who needs to go.
He has never had a coach who would tell him, Russ, if Scotty Brooks didn't do it, Billy Donovan didn't do it.
Scotty Brooks won Coach of the Year. Now
Okay, Coach
How's
of the
he
Year
doing in
and
Washington?
Coach of the Year and being able to go to Russ and have a real conversation with him that Russ is going to respect, listen to, and go out and implement is two totally different things.
Are we sure he can do that? He kind of is a
I'm
rigid.
not saying it's going to be
I'm not
easy.
saying it, but the conversation,
That's
it needs.
what you try.
That's you got to try that.
Who is it?
A Mark Jackson. You go out,
I
throw
like Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson, yep.
Chauncey Billups is my great friend. Throw a Chauncey Billups name in the mix. Give Chauncey a shot to go out and have a conversation with Russell Westbrook as his coach.
There you go. That's better than trading him.
That's better.
OKC could go 20 years before they ever get anybody close to Russell Westbrook.
Seriously. Kenyon
I
won.
didn't think it was that great of an argument.
I like
He
the
hit
film
it.
Mark Jackson. Kenyon won.
So tomorrow,
Why I like Mark
you,
Jackson?
You need to go a whole different way tomorrow in the first.
Hey guys, Jason McIntyre here. Before the show moves along, I wanted to tell you that support for the Speak for Yourself podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. They understand that home plays a big role in your life and family. That's why they created Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage gives you the confidence you need when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. It's simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. Whether you're looking to buy your first home or your 10th, with Rocket Mortgage you get a transparent online process that gives you the confidence to make an informed decision. It's convenient. Our trusted partners allow you to share your financial information with Rocket Mortgage at the touch of a button. And in addition to getting a real mortgage approval in minutes, you can even adjust the rate and length of your loan in real time to make sure you're getting the right solution for you. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply. Understand fully. Mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/speak. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're joined now by longtime NFL coach Rob Ryan, who has a jacket on that matches the drapes in my apartment.
Oh, my goodness.
And the founder of the big lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to the Patriots, where the ongoing friction between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick has been getting a lot of attention this offseason. But according to one NFL legend, Bill Parcells, there's not much to worry about, as the former Patriot coach told The Athletic, quote, "You are just hearing gossip and conjecture and opinion from Colin Cowherd." I mean, I don't put much stock in that. The only thing you got to do is watch the product on the field when the season starts. All this off-season stuff, it doesn't mean anything, nothing. Cowherd, I'm sure you agree with Parcells here. Do you think this is going to extend into the regular season, the feud?
No, football's time-consuming. You played it. It's just once the season starts, you don't have time to be involved in this off-season gossip stuff. You think Brady really is going to keep poking the bear, getting in the way, potentially disrupting another Super Bowl trip? Let's be honest. The Jets will start a rookie quarterback. The Bills will start a rookie quarterback. And Tannehill's coming off an injury. Don't mess around. Win a lot of games. Get a bye. Win 2 AFC games. And you're in the Super Bowl. Like, I don't think they're going to mess around.
Look, Belichick and Brady have been Batman and Robin. And Brady has been Belichick's voice in that locker room, even when Belichick's not there. I think Brady is going to use less of his voice to defend Belichick moving forward. If Belichick doesn't open training camp or at some point this offseason, hey, guys, I did something stupid in the Super Bowl. It seems selfish. It was a big mistake. I should have explained this a long time ago. I should have played Malcolm Butler, or at least should have explained this to you all. If he doesn't do that, I think Tom Brady's going to let this dude sink or swim on his own. And so I do think this extends into the regular season because I think Tom Brady and a lot of players on that roster are justifiably upset with their head coach.
Wow, that's interesting. I think, I was there for 4 years. Granted, they were with Brady's first 4 years. But, this is such a tight team. And everything is. And everything Tom Brady does is for the team. It always has been. I mean, when I was out there, me, Mangini, I know it's shocking. We would get there every morning to work out, 162 straight days, exhausting. But in there with us was Willie McGinnis and Tom Brady. Nobody else worked like these guys. And they never said anything. There was no hoopla. They did it on their own. Then they went to meetings and they did all this. I think Belichick he's not one to hand out bouquets. He's just not that guy. So it's going to be hard to say, well, he's going to appreciate Tom Brady more. Believe me, he does. This reminds me of one conversation I had with my father back in the day. He loved Gary Fensick. Gary Fensick was from Yale, was an unbelievable safety, and he was so hard on him. I remember asking, like, Dad, why are you so hard on Fensick? I was in high school at the time. He goes, hell, you have to be hard on certain guys. You have to be hard because he's the type of guy that you need to be hard on because if you're easy on him, it'll affect the rest of the team. So maybe this is a similar thing. They're old school coaches. Maybe that's an old school philosophy. That's not the philosophy I had. I remember one time Warren Sapp said, I'm going to miss the OTAs. We were on like our fifth coach when I'm still the defense coordinator in Oakland. I'm like, hey, Sapp, why don't you come out here, be there for the OTAs? It'll be good for the rest of the guys. And he's like, Rob, what are you going to teach me about three technique that I don't already know? Well, he goes, I'm spending them with my kid. I'll see you at minicamp. Well, all right. So I think him missing the OTAs, I think, look, Brady's with the best assistant coach in football, Josh McDaniels. Yeah. He's with the best head coach. I mean, it'll all work its way out. I really don't think it'll go into much. And honestly, I don't think the team's going to wait for an explanation on Butler. Yeah. I think that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think you could just wait for that, Whitlock. I just look back to last season. The Alex Guerrero stuff popped, right? He banned him from the sideline in the team flight. And what was the impact on the Patriots? Nothing. They kept winning games. They went to the Super Bowl. These guys are professionals, okay? They've been together 15 years. You love marriage analogies, Colin, right? Yeah. You get in the argument. Time period happens, you get through that argument, you move on with life. You can't just sit here worrying about stuff in the middle of the week when you're prepping for the Saints and Sean Payton or the Jaguars defense. You can't worry about off-season arguments. I think this stuff, as much as we love it, and I love talking about it as a Jets fan, waiting for the Patriots to implode, it's not happening. They're going to be fine.
I just don't think this particular sin is one that you just let go. There's arguments within a marriage that, I'll let that slide. You were supposed to take me to dinner tonight, but you didn't do it because you fell asleep. I've done some crazy things in relationships. But again, when you get caught cheating, when they walk in on you and you're cheating with the next door neighbor, it just doesn't go away. And Malcolm Butler and losing the Super Bowl, that's walking in on your spouse with your next door neighbor. And unless there's a damn good explanation, one of the greatest explanations of all time, people just don't move on.
Here's a strange one that people don't mention about Butler, and I have no idea what happened. I swear to God, I don't. Most people in that building don't, obviously. But remember, nobody was playing worse in man-to-man situation than Butler was in the playoffs. Remember the rookie out there at Tennessee?
The guy that actually replaced him played actually worse. But
well, okay, that was a Super Bowl.
That was in the Super Bowl.
But I'm saying this, and look, they knew it and they picked on him. I get it. But that rookie receiver from the Titans who didn't do anything all year destroyed him. Yeah. Destroyed him in that playoff game. So, but look, that may not have anything to do with it. Maybe there was other stuff. But believe me, Belichick's not gonna budge on that.
All right, to Philadelphia, where Carson Wentz has been busy rehabbing his surgically repaired knee this offseason. After being on the sidelines while backup Nick Foles led the Eagles team to the Super Bowl win, but despite a projected recovery time of 9 to 12 months, Wentz sounds pretty optimistic about getting back on the field in time for Week 1.
So far, everything's going well. Where I'm at, I'm very confident. My goal is to be back for Week 1, and having to miss the playoffs, miss the Super Bowl. As exciting as it was, there's just that little uneasiness inside of me to have to miss those games that, I truly believe I'll be back stronger than ever, and I'm not too worried about it going forward.
Well, I can tell Whitlock chose this topic. Should Wentz feel threatened by Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles?
I'm trying to think. There was a quarterback in the NFC East who did a campaign all in for Week 1. RG3. That's who he sounds like. Someone trying to do too much because he is a little afraid. If Nick Foles goes out there and beats the Atlanta Falcons week 1, that's who they play. And then I think they come back with the Colts and some other patsy, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They start out 3-0. Now you got a legitimate quarterback controversy.
Oh.
If they start 3-0 and the guy just was the MVP of the Super Bowl, Carson Wentz sounds like a guy that's a bit insecure, and for good reason.
First of all, one of them's a prodigy, one of them's a career backup. The gap isn't, you do realize.
One of them's a Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, come on. Listen, maybe it would be different if Nick Foles' DNA was, I want the job.
Yeah.
That's not who he is. He's not one of those guys. I mean, he wants to be a pastor. He had to be talked out of retiring 3 years ago. Maybe if he was one of those guys that, there's guys in this league, like Kirk Cousins is like, I'm a starter, I don't care, I'm pushing, regardless of what even his GM thought. I think Nick Foles is happy being Nick Foles.
Have we forgotten how good Carson Wentz was last
Yes.
year? 10-2, he was the MVP of the league, okay, before the injury happened. Set a franchise record for touchdown passes with like 3 weeks left in the season. I mean, Carson Wentz has blown everyone away in the first 2 years here, and there's just no reason he should be worried whatsoever about Nick Foles.
You love
There's
Nick
none.
Foles.
It's not that I love. The situation, if the guy started 3-0, let's say he missed the first 3 weeks, started 3-0, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, the Colts. You're telling me no one's going to say, why rock the boat?
Howie Roseman's going to go call teams. Need a quarterback? Our backup's better than your starter. I think you move him.
Wow, that'd be, when he gets healthy, when Wentz gets healthy, that'd be interesting. I think this, look, obviously Wentz is a star. He's Kyrie Irving. This kid in the back, this backup who's replaced
Terry
him.
Rozier. Yeah.
Who's replaced him in the playoffs. Oh, he's great in the playoffs. He's doing this because Foles never did anything in the regular season for the Eagles. He was going in as
Remember, he was even awful in that first game against the Raiders.
Against the Raiders, who were god-awful, couldn't stop anybody on defense. And then the Cowboys, who couldn't stop anybody.
You're right. You guys are right. The playoff games are much easier than regular season.
No, they're not,
And
obviously.
the regular season.
But they did a great job with Foles, and the coaching staff got together and said, what do I do best? They focus on something that he does really well, those run-pass options that caught Zimmer and the Vikings shocked. He did a phenomenal job. You can't take that away from him. But, again, the star is Wentz. And if he gets back, there's no telling how great Wentz would have done in these playoffs as well.
Is some of this because of what happened with Brady and Garoppolo? Do you think Brady was very insecure about the young guy coming to take his place? But this isn't like that situation. Wentz is the young guy here. He's got nothing to be worried about. Only an insecure doofus would be rattled by Nick Foles, who's a nice quarterback, a nice backup, but there's no reason to be insecure.
And
about
so you just called Carson Wentz an insecure doofus?
No, I said he's not an insecure doofus.
You said only an insecure doofus would be worried about Nick Foles. I just felt like we just saw evidence that he's worried about Nick Foles.
Why? Because his rehab's going well?
Week 1. This all in. You think Robert Griffin III wasn't insecure about Kirk Cousins?
No, he was, but he wasn't as good as Carson Wentz.
RG after their rookie year, RG3?
I've never met a person who is more enamored with a backup. You love Nick Foles.
Why do you keep calling him a backup?
He did a phenomenal job in the playoffs.
He's the reigning
he really did.
Super Bowl MVP. Call him that. Call it the reigning Super Bowl MVP. Isn't that the most important game?
Larry Brown, remember was it the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Raiders were like, oh, we got to get some Larry Brown. Paid him a fortune. Couldn't guard anybody. Guys win MVPs and awards. Phil Jackson's won 1 NBA Coach of the Year award. Does that mean he's not? You got to get out of this awards prove anything. Derrick Rose won an MVP. So what?
This isn't about the award. This is about what he did in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, and whether or not Carson Wentz's actions are being somewhat driven by
Wasn't very good against Atlanta at home in the playoffs.
Hey, Malcolm Butler was the Super Bowl MVP.
I can see your point about his actions. I don't think he needs to do that, honestly, but maybe I can see what your point is on his actions being a little nervous sounding, but he doesn't need to be. He's Carson Wentz. This is a superstar ready to go.
Yes.
Should have been the MVP of the league if he doesn't get hurt, or he should have still won it.
Yeah, I think you could make an argument he was the MVP despite missing a month.
Yeah.
I would have had no problem in winning. That's how dominant he was.
He was.
Kind of like Matt Ryan when he won MVP.
No, Carson
I like
Wentz
Matt
is
Ryan.
better than that.
I like Matt Ryan, and I'd pay him.
Welcome back, Kenyon Martin, Jason McIntyre back. Let's move to Detroit. where the Pistons have parted ways with coach and president of basketball operations Stan Van Gundy after 4 incredibly unremarkable seasons. The speculation about who might take over for Stan has already started, including an interesting suggestion from Charles Barkley last night.
I would like to the Pistons consider bringing in Isaiah Thomas as their president of basketball operations. You see the Lakers brought back Magic Johnson. You saw the Celtics bring back Danny Ainge. They've tried everything. I think that Isaiah works with us. He's done a fantastic job. I think at times he's gotten a bad rep with all the circus stuff going on in New York and blah, blah, blah. But I think the Detroit Pistons should consider bringing him in as the president of basketball operations.
All right, Whitlock, deserve another chance?
Absolutely. And listen, I have a bias. I'm friends with Isaiah Thomas. He's one of the sports people that I respect the most. I think much of what has been written about Isaiah Thomas over the last 15, 20 years has been lies, exaggerations, just out of context. Isaiah Thomas is one of the best people I know. I say that personally, but I also say that as a journalist. And yeah, I think he deserves another chance. I think that he would be the perfect fit. He and the owner in Detroit are close and good friends. The owner lives out here in LA and is kind of hands off. I think Isaiah would be the perfect fit to go back to Detroit and run that organization.
He was a good drafter. Damon Stoudemire, T-Mac, Marcus Camby. The one thing I always liked about, I thought he knew basketball personnel. Good communicator. He's a good broadcaster. We've had him on the show before. He was great. Is he relevant with young players? Well, he's a Hall of Famer, so they probably know about him. I mean, that I'm not sure of, but I think most young guys know who he is. He's on TV a lot. So I think he's relevant. I think he's smart. He has a history. He drafted well. You know, so to me, I just look at the data. I look at the players he drafted. He was above average, and that's what they need. They need an infusion of talent because they've overpaid for some players.
Yeah, I grew up a Pistons fan. Born in Saginaw, Michigan. Grew up watching Pistons. But Isaiah Wood deserves another shot. But unfortunately, people remember negative things. You know what I'm saying? And the most recent thing was all the negative stuff with the Knicks and all that last gig he had, which is unfortunate because it just wasn't solely him. You know, but he gets singled out because he has the biggest name in the whole situation.
Right.
And trying to get another job in the same field, those things would probably tend to come up again. Like, how would you handle this situation if this occurred again? And it tends to follow you, but it's unfortunate. But does he deserve another shot? I think so. Like I said, he's a great person. I know Isaiah personally. Great person, good heart, knows the game well. Like I said, drafts well, knows talent. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm all for giving people second chances. I know you're close with Isaiah, so I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way. I think he should be combined with a new school guy, an analytics guy, the way Magic Johnson's kind of the face of the Lakers. He's a closer, but he's not the only guy running the show there. Rob Pelinka is vital to this operation. Former agent, they have a good analytics team, and Danny Ainge in New York has a strong analytics team. And what you're seeing from these new teams that are popping up, Philadelphia, heavily analytics-based. Golden State, very analytics. I like the idea of Isaiah as like a face of the franchise. He's like from that Magic era. But also you need that new school mentality. Hey, we need balance. You can't just have Isaiah's 90s mentality because with the Knicks, and I'm not going to trash him as a longtime Knicks fan, he made some bad moves, okay? Trading for Eddie Curry, we could go on and down the list. He did have some good draft picks, but I think, yes, Isaiah teaming with somebody else in the front office could work.
I'm actually shocked, you being a Knicks fan. I was expecting a slightly different take than that because I don't think Isaiah would be opposed to that. And not only would he not be opposed to it, I think that would be his vision. He follows the game very closely. He can see which direction the game is gone, and he can see the importance of analytics. But in terms of just knowing basketball people, being able to communicate with young basketball players, I think Isaiah is very well respected by today's modern NBA players, from LeBron James on down, and I think he would bring a lot of credibility in that regard, and I think he would certainly surround himself with the right kind of team. And he's had enough stumbles or perceived stumbles that I just don't think he would make the same, whatever mistakes you can put on him, I just don't see him making those same mistakes.
Listen, I got to be honest with you. I am surprised how good John Lynch with the 49ers and Magic have done. I mean, they were broadcasters. Magic moved right into the Lakers. It's like His draft this past year was remarkable. Yeah. They can all play. But John Lynch's draft. I mean, listen, I'm always a believer of take the guys who have been around the block, but I mean, these star players have a lot of connections. They know the right agents. My guess is if he got the right analytics people, he would be the magic, which is attract people. Isaiah's always a guy that lights the room up. Big smile, good communicator, great sense.
Shooter.
Yeah.
And what?
And he's a straight shooter.
Yeah,
I do want to caution you guys, okay? Magic Johnson is in L.A., a massive destination. The Lakers are one of the marquee franchises in the league. Are we going to see free agents go to Detroit, which is basically a mid-market team in the NBA? I don't think he's going to be out there like, hey, Paul George, come to Detroit. I just don't see that happening. You got to be very savvy.
Okay, so
up and coming, new arena. They're doing a lot with this.
But his strength was drafting. They'll have picks. He was a very good drafter.
His strength is drafting, but it's his mind. And so Magic Johnson, love him to death, but his intellect has never been on the same level as Isaiah Thomas. We talk about Isaiah Thomas as if he graduated or played basketball at UNLV. He played at Indiana for Bobby Knight. He has a master's degree from Cal Berkeley. He's one of the most educated, intelligent guys to ever play the game. We don't talk about that because his name has been smeared, I believe, unfairly, and so people don't have him in proper perspective. It's like if he had played at Duke, there's like a prestige and a level of respect you get for having played at Duke, and people automatically go, oh, that guy's intelligent, he played at Duke. This dude played at Indiana, which was Duke well before Duke, and master's degree, he's a really smart person.
And a lot of that comes with a lot of stuff you've seen just from the guys who he played against, the Michael Jordans, the Scottie Pippens, those guys, the things that's been said about him that probably holds more weight than his actual resume and things that he's done. People tend to pay attention to those things because he's not as visible as those other guys are now.
All right, time for last call. Well, we just saw Giselle and an annoyed Tom Brady arriving at the Met Gala last night. Cowherd, what do you think of Brady's outfit?
He's invisible. I can't see him. I don't understand. The discussion on all the shows today is Brady.
Yeah.
I think there's somebody else in the picture that's worthy of.
Yeah. I will say this. I did, after a while, figure out Tom Brady was in the picture, and I didn't like the haircut or the figure skating outfit he chose to wear.
You don't like it?
No. I don't. For a second, I thought this was something from the Black Panther movie. It was from Wakanda, and then someone told me that it was actually a figure skating outfit. I don't know.
They're a handsome couple.
Yeah, they are.
Not many people wear turtlenecks anymore.
Yeah, I don't like the haircut. The haircut looks very nerdy. I can't believe Giselle let him out of the house looking like that, to be quite honest with you. But maybe she just wanted all the attention on her. Maybe that's what that was.
She is a beautiful woman.
To Philadelphia, where Joel Embiid and Terry Rozier got into it briefly last night in Game 4. And while Embiid didn't do much fighting on the court, he couldn't help but take a shot at Rozier after the game.
Tried to punch me twice, but too bad he's so short that he couldn't get to my face. I didn't understand why it was a double technical.
All right, Cowherd, should Scary Terry be suspended for Game 5?
Not really. It does. There's a second that it looks like he wants to throw a real punch, but to me, this is playoff basketball. We all complain about the NBA. Players don't play hard until the fourth. This is what makes playoff basketball different than Tuesday in Denver in February.
This is absolutely nothing. He thought about taking a swing.
He did.
And then changed his mind. I would not suspend him. I think Embiid cracking a joke about it, I think, is the right tact. Again, these little guys taking on 7-footers, not very smart.
It's playoff basketball. That's why the games, like you said, these Eastern Conference games are fun.
I think the Sixers will be heard from again.